Good morning, it's Christopher Taylor up on the hill, Sovereign Harmony Astrology. We're going to do the astrology for the week of June 7th to the 13th, okay? So we're in the wake of this full moon in Sagittarius, okay? And that full moon was ruled by Jupiter. It's all about expansion and growth and movement, okay? Now Jupiter just exited the shadow zone in Cancer. So it's been in Cancer for about a year. It entered the shadow zone first retrograde in late August, retrograded from November to March, and then now just in the last couple days, it has exited the shadow zone. So we're in new territory as far as Jupiter is concerned. Jupiter is about expansion and movement anyway. So now we're moving out of the territory, okay? And the first thing that Jupiter wants to do here this week is this conjunction with Venus in Cancer. Okay, you've probably heard about it, other astrologers, whatever. It's not an isolated aspect. This conjunction between Venus and Jupiter is not isolated because it's coming out of the wake, again, of the full moon in Sagittarius with Jupiter being the ruler. There's Jupiter. And when Mercury turns retrograde at the end of the month, that'll be June 29th to July 23rd, it'll cover pretty much the same zone of Cancer that Jupiter did in its retrograde. So it's a reevaluation, okay? But it's also going to turn retrograde right at the degree, pretty much with less than a degree from where this Venus-Jupiter conjunction happens. So the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is this week, but we get to reevaluate that throughout the rest of the summer, really, because Mercury will retrograde in late June, and it won't exit the shadow and finish that conjunction with that spot about 25, 26 degrees Cancer till early August, okay? So this is with us the whole summer. The theme of the summer, Venus conjunct Jupiter, heart expansion, okay? This is like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Like when I think of it, it's like, the heart growing 3 sizes, okay? Jupiter expanding that heart. Pretty simple. And again, it's going to be a theme throughout the summer because Mercury's not going to let us forget it. So it opens this week. We reevaluate it all summer, and we go from there. Okay. What also happens on Tuesday, which is interesting, the same day that we have this Venus-Jupiter conjunction, again, but because it's not isolated, it's coming off the full moon. We're going to reevaluate it with the Mercury retrograde, but it comes with a Mercury in Cancer squaring Saturn in Aries. Very like get real kind of energy. Okay. Saturn in Aries wants us to be self-responsible. So it's like our hearts are expanding, but we're also getting realistic and saying, wait, how do I channel this? How do I properly channel this expansion of my heart into something practical, okay? And at that Mercury side of that square is kind of like, oh, but this is my heart, this is what I want to do. Saturn and Aries is saying, yes, but, okay? That's very, very much Mercury square Saturn is yes, but, okay? So Mercury wants to support this Venus conjunction to Jupiter, and it will, and that's why we're going to get that retrograde that's going to, turn retrograde at that point, come back, and it's going to be this total reevaluation. So Mercury, our minds, in other words, is not going to let our hearts just run away with it. It wants to work with the heart, but it wants to work practically. And that's really what's going on here. At the end of the week, Mercury will also enter its shadow zone. The same, again, almost the exact same degrees that Jupiter was in when it retrograded from November to March. Mercury is going to retrograde. So any aspects you had to your planets from Jupiter, say from like August, September until recently, same aspects are going to be happening from Mercury. It's just a shorter time frame. It's not going to be like a 9-month time frame. It's going to be like a 6 or 7 week time frame. Okay, but it's a reevaluation of where the growth we had with Jupiter. So if you had like, Jupiter's trining your sun or something like that. Okay, now Mercury's going to trine your sun. Okay, so it's just going back to the same themes and making sure that we're really integrating the emotional growth that Jupiter in Cancer was all about. At the end of the week as well, we have it's interesting because we're expanding our hearts, Venus in Cancer, getting that Jupiter conjunction, and it's ready to go. But there's that realism that comes with it. And then at the end of the week, same day on Friday, the 12th, when Mercury enters its shadow zone, we have this square between Venus and Cancer, 29 degrees Cancer too. So it's the last degree, and it's going to square Chiron at 29 degrees Aries. So Chiron has been in Aries since 2018. It's been all about wounds and healing associated with self capability, self confidence, anything to do with like coming back to ourselves as a sovereign being. Okay, so we've learned a lot, we've experienced a lot, we've had a lot of pain in that area since 2018, and this is like almost like pushing the button of that pain on purpose. Okay, so our hearts are expanded. Mercury's saying, hey, wait, we gotta figure this out all summer. Don't go too crazy. But then it's like our hearts want to just test our pain level. It's weird. It's almost like we know it's going to hurt, but we want to push the button anyway. That's what this Venus square Chiron is like. Okay, we want to test, essentially. We're wanting to test our level of essentially durability when it comes to wounds. Okay, we want to put ourselves in situations where our hearts are expanded and we don't care what the results are. We don't care if it hurts by being in that position. That's what this Venus square Chiron is all about here at the end of the week. So it's interesting. It's kind of like, you know, heart expansion and then kind of going for it, whatever it is. You know, if we go to open mic night and just kind of watch and observe, maybe this week is the week we get up there, right? Whatever it is that like is on our hearts, it's putting ourselves in a vulnerable position, knowing it'll probably hurt, and saying, but I don't care, whatever, let's do this, right? So that's really what's happening this week. It's that first test of our growth when it comes to wounds and healing associated with like self-confidence, okay? And again, we're setting off this theme for the summer. This Venus-Jupiter conjunction is not isolated. It is the theme of the summer. Our hearts are expanding. They're not expanding in a vacuum. They're expanding in the wake of that full moon in Sagittarius for a purpose here as we move through the summer. So we're going to leave it at that. I mean, we do have a new moon coming up here on Sunday, next Sunday. We'll talk about that next week. It's very healing, very gentle, communicative new moon, okay? But it's going to happen after this week for a reason. So we're going to figure out what the reason is this week as we move through it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Comment below. Let me know if you want to have a personal reading. We can talk about all these aspects in your chart. Other than that, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you soon.